What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping in with a bunch of Destiny 2 news to talk about. We're going to touch on a secret title coming up in the game soon. It's definitely something different, but on top of this, new quests and rewards coming in the Tribute Hall, and then we'll touch on Catalyst's Menagerie Cheese, and some of Opulence's other remaining content. But then we're going to talk about Shadowkeep, the story, a little bit of stuff about new characters, some armor teases, and then some other news roundups and updates from Bungie and D2. So guys, if you enjoyed the video, a rating below really helps me out. But now, let's get straight into it. Firstly, let's talk about some upcoming event stuff. So, it turns out there is a hidden title in the game, and we can see it is classified and visible in the database. So if you look on like GG or something, you will see it, but it does appear to be linked to Moments of Triumph for 2019. In Jinsa's Opulence text files, there is a listing for Moments of Triumph, and they do appear to be title requirements, and the name for these is actually 2019 in Roman numerals, so this appears to be the collection of triumphs for this year, but there is another text line, Connoisseur, and people are thinking it's pretty likely that this will actually be the title. And the text does list completing feats of strength before the 27th of August to claim unique rewards, including, and it's followed by defeating enemies with Crimson, completing all Season of Opulence triumphs, bounties completed, completing all exotic triumphs, and completing bounties purchased from 1 and 9940. So those may not be the specific requirements for the title. It would make sense that that would require completion of Moments of Triumph for this year. Either way, definitely different to have a title involved in all of this. We know that Tribute Hall and Moments of Triumph basically launched together, so that'll be interesting, but then it is followed by Solstice of Heroes just a couple of weeks later. Otherwise, next week on Tuesday, we're going to get the Lumina quest, and Bungie teased that we'll go to the European Dead Zone, and according to leaks, it does seem that the quest for Lumina, or the starting item for the quest, will be found in the same location as Thorn was. And we'll keep you posted next week on the Lumina and Rose quest, but separately yesterday, we did get our first look at the perks for Bad Juju. But in terms of specifically when it could come into the game, it does appear that it could start with the Tribute Hall, as one of the Tribute Hall triumphs is to complete the mission believed to be associated with Bad Juju, and July 9th is the launch of Tribute Hall. So it could be that Bad Juju comes sometime after that point, and maybe will require a certain amount of progress with Tribute Hall to get the quest. And so while July 9th itself is unlikely, it does seem most possible that the quest is going to go live at some point during that event. But in terms of what's going to happen with Tribute Hall, as far as we know right now, or the basic idea, is that Tribute Hall will be a process of kind of earning triumphs through specific objectives, earning a sort of tribute currency, and then spending it for rewards. We've seen this Callus statue in some of the trailers, and this is actually listed in the MP section of the press kit for Opulence. And so it looks like Callus Bot will kind of be the vendor for this, or is going to work a little bit like the Statue of Heroes from Solstice, where it will be the actual location for trading and completing objectives for the event. Looking at some data mine stuff, there is apparently a Boon of Opulence, which is a token that you can get dropped during the event, and you deliver it to the Visage of Callus, which is the name of that NPC, and this will increase your tribute discount by 1%. And by turning in tokens, you can increase this all the way up to an 80% discount. And so it's speculated that Tribute Hall triumphs will possibly produce a kind of currency that is used to get rewards. We're not certain on what exactly those rewards are going to be. Players have speculated about possible reprised Leviathan armor, since it was visible in one of the trailers. But there are a bunch of different triumphs which have actually been dropping early in the game. The list for Tribute Hall triumphs doesn't show up until you've actually completed one, but if you do get any Tribute Hall triumphs, it is recommended not to turn them in just yet, because we assume that these dropping right now is a bug, and it's worth being aware that it could affect progress in the event if you turn them in. I'm sure Bungie will have a way to stop it affecting anything negatively, but definitely bear it in mind. Nonetheless, all Tribute Hall triumphs are achieved by equipping any Callus-themed gear. So that could be any of the stuff from Leviathan, any of the raids, including Year 1 stuff, but also any of the Menagerie gear, or Opulence Crown of Sorrow gear as well. And there are triumphs like Imperial Foot Soldier to defeat enemies in strikes, Imperial Scoundrel to defeat enemies in Gambit, and Assassin to defeat enemy Guardians in Gambit. And there are a bunch of others, things like completing a 100k Nightfall, completing encounters on Leviathan, encounters in Last Wish, Scourge of the Past, Crown of Sorrow, and even by defeating Guardians in the Crucible using Callus-themed gear. And when you turn these in, you will unlock certain tributes that you can use in the Tribute Hall in the event. Once again though, I do recommend that if you complete any, just hold on to them and turn them in later on in case it affects anything. Nonetheless, I'd be curious to hear any speculation you guys have about how Tribute Hall may work. Now though, I want to round up some stuff about story, new and returning characters in Shadowkeep, and a couple of other things. A lot of this stuff was really glossed over during the reveals because we had so much new info. But Ben Womack and Catherine Walker from Bungie did say, on the subject of characters and story, that they wanted to give Eris Morn some of what they gave to Morro with this kind of deep lore and cyclical content for that. Ben said that when we jump into Shadowkeep, we're not just going to learn about what Eris Morn is doing right now, it's also about the history that's there and what has changed. He teased that it will feature some kind of fallen house base, so I'm not sure if this is a place you can go to in the patrol zone. It's possible that it could be for a strike or something like that, especially with that old fallen ketch floating above. It does look like a lot of the moon strikes are going to be reprised. But we'll also learn about stories from long ago with characters we remember, and Ben said these characters are going to expose more of what is actually coming in the future. So that's pretty interesting. There was a question of whether there will be any new characters, and Ben Womack teased that he didn't want to give any spoilers, but there is a particular character, and he's been checking out the scripts for a ton of what they do and says it's really awesome stuff. So who knows who that could be? I'm guessing he isn't teasing about Eris Morn or an existing character, so maybe a brand new or newly fleshed out character, you know? What if we were to meet Toland in some capacity or something? That would be really pretty interesting. There was, however, also a question about Morro and Uldren. And on the subject of both characters, they said that the focus this time around is really going to be on Eris Morn, so it doesn't seem likely that we'll learn an absolute ton about Morro, but also for Uldren, they did say that this is a story for another time, so presumably Bungie do still plan to flesh out Uldren's story, and what we saw with his resurrection was a kind of tease to that, but precisely what's happening with him is not something we're going to know about for a little while yet. And I kind of thought the return to the Black Garden could possibly link to Uldren, especially given his history with the place. There's actually some pretty cool lore this season with the story of Uldren and his friend Joel who sneak into the Black Garden. And I really like this line. The Gate Lord towers above them. Uldren whoops and hip fires a couple of rounds into the sand at his feet and says, "Can you dance, sir? Have you got the footwork?" And honestly, those stomp mechanics are no joke, man. I'm surprised he actually survived that. Outside of all of that though, on one of the developers' monitors, it does appear that we can see some possible raid armor concepts right here. There's been a lot of speculation as to whether this is Hive or Vex themed armor. Nonetheless, this is probably some stuff that we can expect to see in Shadowkeep. Now though, to round up some stuff about D2 right now, quick shout out, there is a Gauntlet cheese that you can use inside of Heroic Menagerie as well. In fact, there are a couple. So firstly, the grenade launcher cheese, where you fire projectiles at the finish line on the Gauntlet run, and those projectiles can actually count as players getting through that run. So it's a really good way to get a bunch of progress. But secondly, there is a cheese where you can actually despawn all of the ads. And when you're in the run-in section in Heroic Menagerie, after you've jumped through the third circle, basically you just turn around and head back through the same circle, and this will end the timer for the encounter. And Cheese Forever did actually upload a video for this, so I'll link that down below if it's something you want to check out. There are some potentially interesting exotic catalyst perks that have been found. And some of you guys pointed out the other day that Vorpal Weapon could well be a catalyst bonus for the Black Talon. The perk increases damage against bosses, vehicles, and guardians with their super active. We do know of others like Malfeasance, which is going to get Big Boom. Defeating an enemy with Explosive Shadow will cause a final explosion. And then Funeral Pyre for the Ace of Spades, where Firefly deals more damage while Memento Mori is active. We've just picked up Izanagi's Burden in the game, but then there are other mysterious traits like Hailstorm. Kills increase this weapon's damage and begin to steadily reload the magazine from reserves until you stop firing. And players have speculated that could be for Thunderlord, but then High Noon, readying this weapon grants a brief period of bonus precision damage. Even back to a couple of months ago, there was speculation that this perk could be linked to the Last Word. A lot of the exotic catalysts are kind of fragmented right now, so even in the database we know that they have slots. Some of them even have stats, but then don't have specific bonuses. So there are a few things we don't know about them just yet, but I'll keep you posted when we get any details about them coming into the game. Now, a couple of final things. Below, I'm going to link a list of all of the Eververse armor sets that are being updated and turned into ornaments when it comes around to Shadowkeep. And this was posted by Nick097, and it's basically a breakdown of all of the different sets that will be affected by this. And it includes things like the Optimacy set, the Omega Mechanos set, all of the different seasonal Eververse sets, and the holiday event sets as well. Might be worth looking through the list if you like any of the cosmetics on those, because of course you will be able to apply that as an ornament to an existing piece of armor once September rolls around. A quick shout here is that Destiny 2 actually won a Game Critics Award for Best of E3 2019, and it got Best Ongoing Game. I'm not sure if it got that last year as well, I think it might have. But yeah, I think it's a pretty fitting reward for Destiny. Obviously the franchise has been around for what, like 5 years or so, but then D2 is heading into year 3, and Bungie have plans to continue to support the game. And in fact, as we've spoken about recently, the game is actually growing again. So excellent news, and congrats to Bungie for getting another award right there. They have been absolutely killing it recently. But guys, I hope you have enjoyed today's video. Let me know your thoughts on any of the stuff we've spoken about, that secret title, Lumina, Bad Juju, and the Tribute Hall stuff, or any of the content we're gonna get in Shadowkeep. But if you have enjoyed the video, a like really helps me out, and if you're new to the channel, be sure to hit subscribe to see a lot more D2 content. Also check out my friends over at Now Drinks who have a pretty awesome deal on right now to get buy one get one free, and you can try different flavors and stuff like that. So pretty cool stuff. I recommend you check it out, linked below if it sounds interesting. But otherwise guys, as always, thank you for all of the recent support, and whatever you get up to, I hope you have an awesome day.